as I begin this Dillian Whyte versus Alexander Povetkin breakdown. Before I do that, let me just take you over to our website, www.bwtmonline.com, very quickly. I'm just going to take you for a second and have a little look. This is our store we've got open now, BWTMonline.com. We've got cups, jumpers, hoodies, face mask, the 2020 BWTM Cup, the BWTM socks, kids classic. They're in different colors. You can get them as well for kids. Hoodies, women's collection, t-shirts, phone cases. Again, women's tops, socks. Socks again. Cup, different color, standard, like college top, hoodie, as I say in America. Leggings for the ladies. One's got on the one side of the leggings has got subscribe. The other side's got the BWTM logo on it. Of course, BWTM V-neck. All these things can come in different colors, not just in the white. You can see different colors that are there as well. I think the phone cases are the same colors though. So there you go. Just thought I'd show you this. All available right now at www. or just type in bwtmonline.com. You can't miss it. It's the first name up on Google. So there you go. And as well, it is also advertised on the YouTube channel as well. So there you have it. BWTM Online. So let's spin this off and get into our discussion tonight. So let's stop at the screen and get into this. So that's the people in the room. Ruben Guerrero, good to see you in the room, sir. Nice, thank you. Kenny, good to see you in the room, ordering the phone case. Good to see you, Ken. Nice to see you in the room. So this broadcast, I hope you hear me clearly now. This broadcast is coming to you from London. So the man's in the area, as they say. I want to get into this. And it might be a different breakdown than the typical breakdown. But this breakdown, we're going to use... Store's looking good, bro. Thank you very much. This breakdown is not your traditional BWTM breakdown because people are just getting back into swing of things of boxing. We've never had a pandemic or pandemic before. We have it now. And so people are just getting back into boxing. They're easing their way back in. So while we're easing the way back in and people are changing the trainers and blood and legal stuff is flying around, let's just take a step back for a second. Good evening, Suzella. Suzella, very quickly, I want to introduce everybody to Suzella. Suzella's known me for the good part of almost 20 years. I would say almost 20 years. Suzella's known me. She knows me, met me as I was her coach, or I was a head coach, and she was a coach. Me and her worked together in Enfield for many years, and we get on very well. So much love to you, Suzella. Great to see you on the show tonight, and definitely we're going to do a show with you on it, and we're going to talk about coaching, community, and all sorts of stuff. So it'll be fun, be good. I think everyone will enjoy you on the show as well. So it's going to be different tonight because a lot of dynamics. Dynamic number one, obviously, is that Dillian Whyte has changed his trainer now. It's official now. He's with Xavier Miller. It wasn't rocket science that he would go with. I hope you all can hear me well as well. Please let me know if you can hear me. We knew that he was going to, well, I knew that he was training with Xavier for the longest while. And in fact, it was me who said to Xavier, look, you know what? I think you and Dillian would work really well together. It'd be a good matchup. You and Dillian. Obviously, I wasn't the one who told him to go and leave Mark Tibbs and all the rest of it. Don't bring me into that. Don't accuse me of that. I'm just saying it looked like a good team, a good pairing, right? But I do want to talk about this, and I want to. It's a very, first of all, this is Dillian Whyte's the toughest fight of his career, bar none, on paper, bar none. You know, to my knowledge, the only other guy Dillian Whyte has stepped in the ring with, who's an Olympic gold medalist, was Anthony Joshua. But that was Joshua early in his career. Do you understand? This guy, Povetkin, is an experienced fighter. And I want to talk about that in a moment. Let's put Povetkin to one side at the moment. We're going to have to deal with him. Let's just talk about the dynamics of Dillian Whyte. What has Dillian Whyte had to come through in the last year or year and a half, 2 years? Well, let's take you back. He's had to come through Robert Helenius to get the WBC silver title, was it? He's had to get through Lucas Brown. You know what? Let me box rec this. Let me get this right up in box rec because what I'm building is a case tonight. I'm building a case for this tonight. I really am. And you know, this will be appreciated, what I'm doing here, as always, after the fact. So he's 27 and 1 with 18 KOs, all right? Dillian Whyte. Ranked 3 in Britain and according to BoxRec, ranked 7th in the world. All right, BoxRec. Right, so let's go through this. So let's look at his opposition since he got beat by Joshua. He's fought the names that we know. Allen, Lewison, Chisora. Now I'm talking about the Helenius fight. So the Helenius fight was for a vacant WBC silver title. Now, when I thought you got, now what, for my reckoning is when you got a silver title, that usually gets you next in line to fight the champion. But that's why Manuel Shah was able to challenge and fight Vitaly Klitschko for the title because he had that WBC silver title. That's how I remember the silver title being. But okay. Nonetheless, people talk about he ducked Luis Ortiz and this and that. The silver title you should get in a position to fight for the next in line to fight for the WBC title. That's why I remember the silver title as being. But I will have to do research on that. Right. So we have Lucas Brown, Joseph Parker, Derek Chisora, Oscar Rivas, Mariusz Vach, and now Alexander Povetkin. So after you got past Lucas Brown, and we thought that was for a world title decider. I think Lucas Brown was ranked 4th or 5th in the world, and that before he knocked Lucas Brown out. Lucas Brown was 25 and 0, and Lucas Brown. You remember all the people that was rating up Lucas Brown's ass? Oh, Lucas Brown's a big puncher. Oh, Lucas, you are hard. Oh, Lucas, you got a tattoo. Lucas, you're gonna smash Dillian Whyte. Lucas, this. Lucas, that. Lucas was a former world champion, may I just say, even though he got popped for whatever. He was a world champion. So that's Lucas Brown there. Right. Next up, Joseph Parker. Well, arguably, Joseph Parker got beat by Hughie Fury. He definitely got beat by Andy Ruiz, in my opinion. And then he comes in and gets beat by Anthony Joshua in a fight where I don't think Parker really wanted to know. And he was really there for the money. That's what he looked like. Stick around for 12 rounds. Don't get knocked out. Take the money. But Dillian Whyte, was a good fight with him. And by the way, the knockout of Brown was pretty good. The fight with Parker, he dropped Parker twice. But in that fight, he tired and almost got stopped by Parker in the last round. That was tough. The Derek Chisora fight, I thought he was in control of. A lot of people didn't think so. And I said he'd knock Chisora out, and he did. Remember, in the corner at the time was Xavier Miller. Although Don Charles was the trainer, Xavier Miller was watching Dillian Whyte from the other side. That was for the interim WBC World Heavyweight title against Derek Chisora, right? No, it was for WBC silver title. So he was making a difference in silver title. Then we had the Oscar Rivas fight, which was the interim World Boxing Council title. So the interim title, all right? So you'd have thought by then, having the interim title plus the silver title, you'd have got the next shot at the title. The Oscar Rivas fight, we know that Rivas dropped him, hurt him. He got up. But again, that's 2 fights now that Dillian Whyte's been down him. And then we had the Mariusz Vach fight, which he unanimous point decision. But of course, in that fight, we know that Dillian Whyte was not really in the greatest shape, but still took the fight. Okay. So this more dangerous than Parker. Sasha better than Parker in prime, but now he's getting a bit. Okay. Brown 40 years old, Whack 40 years old, Povetkin 40 years old. Wait. This is the script I want you to use tonight. Keep that script going tonight, right? Povetkin's 40 years old. Okay. Whack is 40 years old. This person's 40 years old. Okay. when Joshua fights these guys, they're pay-per-view numbers and they are legit. Now, as far as I'm concerned, heavyweights get better as they get older. Heavyweight boxing, they seem to get better as they get older. Don't ask me why, but they seem to get better. Now, as far as I'm concerned, he knocked out David Price, he beat Hughie Fury, and arguably beat Michael Hunter as well. A Michael Hunter that stopped Martin Bakole, that gave Usyk a tough fight, that beat Kuzman, that knocked out what's his name? What's the big lad? Oh, not Whack, the other guy. Anyway, stopped him as well. So Alexander Povetkin is an experienced, dangerous fighter. He did look shop-worn to me when he fought Michael Hunter. And if anything, he's had a nice time to recharge his batteries because of the pandemic. One thing is about Alexander Povetkin, he's proven quality. He's an Olympic gold medalist, right? And the last thing you lose in boxing is your punch. Povetkin is a proven puncher. But let's put him to one side at the moment. Don't want to talk about Povetkin. I want to talk about Dillian Whyte. I want to talk about Dillian Whyte and the script. The script that is coming. I hope you all can hear me quite clearly while I'm doing this video, by the way, because I'm not sure if you can. Alexander Povetkin, the Dillian Whyte script. So, what is the script for Dillian Whyte now? Is he fighting a dangerous Alexander Povetkin, or is he fighting an old Alexander Povetkin? Is he fighting a past Alexander Povetkin? Right? Is he fighting a past Alexander Povetkin, or is he fighting a experienced veteran that still is? When a guy's past it is when I see a guy getting blasted out of there by guys he should regularly be beaten. I haven't seen that from Povetkin. He got beat by Joshua, but he did his stuff against Joshua, and he got hit with a big right hand. He didn't see it coming, and it's the shots you don't see that knock you out. Thank you very much. Sound is good. So it's the shots you don't see that knock you out. But Povetkin was giving Joshua a run for his money, all right, and shook the champion up early. So I don't want to hear anything about Povetkin being old for a second. I'll put Povetkin to one side. So Dillian Whyte, he faces now an Olympic champion, the toughest fight of his career on paper. Olympic champion and experienced. We talk about Joshua, but he wasn't experienced at the time. This guy is an Olympic champion, former world champion, and experienced. He's fought the best guys that are around Povetkin that were available. Only two guys have beaten Povetkin. Klitschko and Joshua. And if you're not up to scratch, Povetkin will get rid of you. This is also the guy that knocked out Takam as well. And the current WBA heavyweight champion of the world. Povetkin. Dillian Whyte has changed trainers. We know he's changed from Mark Tibbs to now Xavier Miller. Xavier's been training with Whyte for a while. I didn't see what the big fuss was. But now, if Dillian Whyte wins this fight, who gets the credit? Xavier Miller or Mark Tibbs? If Dillian Whyte wins the fight convincingly and boxes well and he beats Povetkin, are you going to put that down to Xavier Miller or are you going to put that down to Mark Tibbs? How long has Xavier been working with Dillian Whyte? Who's going to get the credit for this fight? And I think it's important. Not because, I know Xavier Miller and I don't talk to Mark Tibbs. I don't know Mark Tibbs not to talk to him, so I can't say that. So you can't throw it at me. It's just been opportunity. I just haven't got round to talking to him. So it's not about that. But I just like scripts. I know what scripts come out in boxing. And you know how scripts work in boxing. And I talk this now because we all know what will happen afterwards. If Dillian Whyte gets beat by Povetkin, will they blame Xavier Miller for it? Will they say that Povetkin is a good fighter? Who's going to get credit for this fight? You talk to me. Listen to me, people. So if Dillian Whyte wins this fight, is it because he's a world-class fighter? Is it because Povetkin is shot? That's the question. So I want to hear what you all think about that. Wan was 40 years old, unbeaten. Vac was 40 years old, but okay, Vac, forget Vac. That was just a comeback fight. And Povetkin was 40 years old. Okay. But ask me that question. Boxing fans, answer me this question. So, Ruben Gray says, hard to tell, to be honest. Think Xavier would need more fights as head coach trainer to get the credit fully. Okay. But I agree, if Whyte loses, fans will blame Xavier's fault. Well, this is it. If it's Xavier's fault, if he loses, then it's Xavier's fault if he wins. We know Xavier's explained to us what he's working with Dillian Whyte, which is his balance. So Xavier wasn't happy with Dillian Whyte's balance. That's what they've been working on. And they've been working on it for a while. So they've been working together for a while. So they would have had ample time to work together, Xavier. And it's not like they're just today just working together. When Ben Davison and Tyson Fury split, when they split, yeah, and supposedly Ben Davison brought Fury back from the brink, and then they split, and Fury went on as now with Sugar Hill. I don't hear anyone talking that much about Ben Davison now. I don't. And you'd think that Tyson would owe Ben Davison a lot more because of what Ben Davison's done for Tyson. And a lot of people were talking about Ben Davison being such a great trainer. That seems to have died down now. Mark Tibbs, when he was training Dillian Whyte, there wasn't a lot of fanfare for Mark Tibbs and his work with Dillian Whyte. There really wasn't. When you talk about top trainers in the country, Mark Tibbs' name wasn't being brought up. Adam Booth, Dave Colwell. So Mark Tibbs' name wasn't really being brought up. I used to bring his name all the time, but I used to say, you know what, Mark Tibbs done a good job with Dillian Whyte. Nobody will give Whyte credit if he wins. They will spin it against him on Povetkin's age. This is what I'm talking about. Good evening, seeing room relief. This is what I'm talking about. The spin doctors will spin it. And they will say, you know what? Dillian Whyte won this fight, but you know what? Whyte should fight Usyk. You know why Whyte should fight Usyk? The reason why Whyte should fight Usyk is because Usyk don't really bring the big money in. Whyte doesn't bring the big money in. Then that will allow, if Usyk and Whyte are tied up, that gets two guys that don't really generate that much money in terms of the big three, while the Joshua and Fury, those three, that allows for those two to get on. See, you've got the four of them: Whyte, Pulev, Usyk, and Whyte, Pulev, Usyk. Yeah, Whyte, Pulev, and Usyk. Those three guys. Those three guys are not. Yes, I know that Whyte's on pay-per-view, but when you talk about Joshua, Fury, and Wilder, they're the big household names. Do you understand? They're the three guys. They're the three kings. Those three guys are the three kings. And then Usyk, Whyte, and Pulev are knocking on the door. But really, and you can throw Povetkin in that. You can throw Povetkin in that mix as well. Yeah, Povetkin's the fourth one. You can have Povetkin in that mix as well. Because, yeah, they're good fighters. They're talented. They're skilled. But, well, add Michael Hunt into that mix as well. There are a bunch of guys that, they're good fighters, but are they really in the pay-per-view? Are they really going to bring in stacks of money? But if you put Tyson Fury and Joshua in the ring, you put Tyson Fury and Wilder in the ring, you put Joshua and Wilder in the ring, then you got the big pay-per-view numbers. Do you understand? So Whyte is doing the best that he can. Now, I want to carry on talking about Whyte because now I'm kind of going from spot to spot. But there's a story, a case and story I'm trying to build here. So Whyte has decided that he's gonna have a fight by fight deal, and he's very much trying to be independent, be his own guy, do his own thing. Do his own thing. So what in doing that, it causes problems. When you decide to go and do your own thing, we only have to look at what happened with Audley Harrison when he was trying to do things his own way. It rubbed the promoters up the wrong way because they weren't getting to. Audley was trying to do it all by himself, take the money away from the promoter and the management, do it all himself, keep it in house. They didn't like that because obviously they were losing a cut of the money, and obviously they don't want that. They want all the money to go into them if they can help it. Audley was trying to be smart, do things their own way, self-promoted, blah 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 blah. And of course, Audley got a lot of stick for that. But you see a lot of fighters today going going that way. You understand? So it's not a case of you will fight this person, you will fight that person when we tell you to. No. You say, well, okay, I'd like to fight on this bill, or when's your next card? When's your next date? Okay, this is what I'll do. I'll fight on this card, I'll fight this person who's available, I'll fight. Do you understand? A bit different. Also, being independent as opposed to being told you will do this and that and the other. Bit different, and that rubs up people the wrong way. So again, Whyte has been through a lot in the last year. He's been through a lot. So you had the B sample. Now from the B sample, we had him now changing trainers. It's been a disruptive time. And then we had before training trainers, we had the whack fight. We was out of shape and he just got through. The B sample. And now he's got this fight with Povetkin and changing trainers. And then taking his fighters from one situation and then send him over to Xavier. So he's had a lot of things to deal with as a fighter. Do you understand? I'm not making excuses, but I am saying these things we need to look at as well. In the toughest fight of his career. So if he can get through this fight with Povetkin, it will be very interesting if the word Usyk isn't mentioned. Very interesting. Very interesting because it's gone quiet with the whole Chisora fight. What interesting, they're going to wait until see what happens with Chisora and Whyte and Povetkin, and then see afterwards you can put Chisora in or Povetkin in with the winner. So if Povetkin were to beat Whyte, then you've got a situation where Povetkin could potentially fight Usyk. You see that one? Povetkin and Usyk fighting. And if Whyte loses, then chucking a belt for it. It's crazy. It's very crazy. Now, as for Povetkin, let's talk about Povetkin for a second now. The former champion of the world. His best punch is a left hook. Whyte's best punch is a left hook. I think personally that Povetkin throws a shorter left hook. Good evening, Coach Chris. Coach Chris, Povetkin shows a shorter left hook as opposed to Dillian Whyte seems a kind of a longer left hook. From what I remember of Dillian Whyte, what Xavier Miller's been working on him to do in this time will be interesting to see how much development Professor X has brought into Dillian Whyte. You know, he says that Whyte learns very quickly and he likes to train him according to Mark Tibbs and the way Mark Tibbs was talking, there were things that he wasn't happy with Dillian Whyte, and it didn't sound to me that the way Mark Tibbs was talking was like he was having to bend over backwards to train Dillian Whyte. Well, that was the impression he was giving, but I don't know because I wasn't there, so I can't speak of it. But Xavier, on the other hand, and I know Xavier on the other hand, and him seem to be getting on well, so it's going to be interesting to see what that is. It's a big fight, arguably the biggest fight. I don't know, but arguably the biggest fight that I would think Xavier's been involved with. I could be wrong, and I'd love to be corrected. The biggest fight Xavier's been involved with, because I know that Chisora and Whyte fought, but I believe Don Charles was the head coach. So this means now that Xavier's got full control now of Dillian Whyte. How long was Xavier? Because in the interview he said to me, look, I never discussed it with you. So you never discussed being the head coach for Dillian Whyte. But I don't know. I've worked in situations where I have been the head coach in waiting, and there's a process, because you might not be told you're going to be a head coach, but there's certain responsibilities you have, certain decisions you have, the way you set up training camp. When you're not the head coach in training camp, the training camp is set up very differently, right? The training camp is set up very differently, because if you're head coach, then you say, I want this, I want that, I want this sparring partner, and I want that, I want this sort of location, that's how a head coach would operate. An assistant coach would come in and say, right, I'm here. What does Mark want? Or how can I help Mark? How can I assist Mark? How can I be helpful to the team? When you're a head coach, you're like, nah, this is how this is going to run. This is how the sparring is going to go. You're going to get up this time in the morning. This is when we're going to do runs. This is when you're going to do strength training, strength and conditioning. Do you understand? And then if you're like an assistant, you'll say, look, okay, yeah, sparring's go well. What do you think of this? What do you think, Mark? Mark will say, what do you think of this? And then have that conversation. But according to Mark, they haven't really talked that much. Xavier and Mark haven't talked that much, according to Mark. So, don't know. But these are just things I'm thinking about and considering and just putting through my mind. So yeah, let's go for these comments a second. So, again, what Xavier does is crucial for Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte, as far as I'm concerned, I'm being brutally honest, he's not a better boxer than Povetkin. Povetkin's got better balance. He fought short punches, and that's to do with the whole Olympic style thing. He's more polished, I think, Povetkin. But Whyte is a boxer. I would say he's a brawler turned boxer. Do you understand? He's a brawler turned boxer. You know, he likes to have a fight. He don't mind having a fight. He don't mind getting dirty. And he has tricks that he's fine-tuning through his boxing ability now, the boxer brawler, and he's learned little things. He's a sly fox, sly old wily fox, Dillian Whyte. He is. Against guys who are not as experienced. But will those same tricks work against someone like Povetkin? I don't know. Povetkin's been around the block. He has seen it all. He's seen it all. And he's gone to war with the best of them. You understand? He's gone to war with the best of them. He's been in there with guys like Takam, Klitschko. I mean, he's not going to outbox Povetkin like... So if he tries to box Povetkin like how Klitschko did, that's suicidal. Right? He's got the reach. He has got the reach to use the jab. But how effective is that jab against a guy like Povetkin? No, this is what I'm talking about. When you use that jab against Chisora, that's okay. Right? And if you go and bully You could bully guys like Joseph Parker. That's fine. That's fine. But here's a guy now, Povetkin. If you rush in like that, you're gonna get countered. So Whyte's got to nullify Povetkin's best attributes. So he'll have to hold center of the ring. Do not get backed up against the ropes. Do not allow Povetkin to get on the inside with you. You got to keep the fight as long range for as long as possible, right? You do not want Povetkin. You do not give Povetkin any chance to explode and use that left hook. His left hook is his best punch, and he has to have a leaping left hook. I used to call Povetkin for this era the White Tyson because he's that explosive. You know. So how Whyte goes about this fight, he can't box him. He can't box Povetkin like he boxed Chisora. Forget it. Not happening. Not working. And he can't go and brawl like he did with Parker. Because Parker is vulnerable to left hook. He's open to left hook. Parker's got no defense to a left hook. Povetkin's the type of guy will make him slip a shot and bang and counter. So Whyte's going to have to pick his moments very, very carefully in this fight, engaging Povetkin. Because one mistake, he can find himself on the canvas. And I used the example of when I talked about Anthony Joshua fighting Andy Ruiz. I said the reason why Ruiz has every chance of stopping Anthony Joshua and causing him a lot of pain is because when Klitschko and Whyte hurt him, they're not known as guys who can throw clusters of punches very quickly and get you out of there. Now, Povetkin is a guy that if you get hurt, he'll jump on you like a harbor shark and he'll find 4 or 5 punches on you. Povetkin's a vicious finisher. Up close, vicious, nasty. Povetkin can be... He has moments in fights, Povetkin, where he's found wanting tired. But for some reason, in fights with Povetkin, he seems to be able to get that second wind. One thing that Whyte's going to have to work on with this fight with Povetkin is make sure his tank doesn't tire before Povetkin's tank. And the way he's going to have to do that is seeking in these body shots. He's going to have to work the body with Povetkin. Work the body. Not many people work the body with Povetkin. And if there is an area where Povetkin he goes into his area where he gets tired, work the body. He goes tired. So that's an area for Povetkin. And Joshua used something that was very interesting. When he fought Povetkin, he hid the right hand. The right hand is not Joshua Whyte's best punch, but his left hook is his best punch. And one of the things they talk about a lot in boxing is you don't hook with a hooker. It's just like a no-no. So you have to keep it straight. The left jab and the right hand down the pipe with Povetkin. Keep him out on the jab. Lots of feints. Feinting Povetkin and walk him onto the right hand. You have to walk him onto the right hand. Now, a big left hook might not be the key there for this fight. You'll walk him onto the right hand. Uppercuts. When Povetkin walks in, throw the uppercuts. Tie him. Turn him up. Push him off the ropes. Push him. Whyte's a bigger man. He's a stronger man. He's got to use his physicality. But he's got to be careful how he does it. It's not about what Whyte does. And he has a tendency when he throws punches to go off balance and leave himself open and exposed, particularly with the right hand. Whyte has his right hand when he throws it, he leaves himself well exposed. I hope that Xavier and Whyte are tightening up his defense and tightening up his offense, because they'll have to be super tight with his defense and super tight with his offense. And make sure that your gas tank doesn't run out on Povetkin. Povetkin might be 40 years old, but as of I've known of 2020, I've not known Povetkin's gas tank to run out on him. And that's against guys like Huey Fury, who are much younger than Povetkin. And look what he did to David Price. So this is a dangerous fight. I don't care what anybody tells me about Povetkin's old. He's experienced. He's an experienced veteran. Right? I don't see too many people queuing up to want to fight Povetkin in a hurry. It must be meaningful for something. So, nah. Nah, nah. I don't see. They're like, he's not the type of guy, as far as I'm concerned, that people want to fight in a rush, in a hurry. So those are my thoughts on Povetkin and Whyte. From Alexander Povetkin's perspective, he could say, you know what? I am the better boxer brawler. I do throw the better counters. I've seen what has Dillian Whyte got that I haven't seen before. He's big. Okay, I fought big guys. He's strong. Yeah, I fought strong guys. You know, I know I've got the power. I can drop this guy. I'm a seasoned fight. I'm a seasoned fighter. Would you say that Dillian Whyte's a better boxer than Michael Hunter? I think you'd be hard pressed to say that. And Michael Hunter struggled, but Michael Hunter's not physically as strong as Dillian Whyte. So I think Whyte is stronger than Povetkin physically. He's stronger, and he might be able to tie him up in clinches and stuff like that. So he'll have to use his physicality. But again, you can't just, because I'm big and strong, I'm gonna. So I think Whyte he's got a better boxing IQ than people give him credit for. So he'd have to mix that boxer brawler style up, but be very careful. Povetkin, of course, will have to watch out for left hook. He'll have to watch out for Whyte's sneaky shots to the body. And work on inside, because Whyte's pretty decent on the inside as well. He'll have to be careful of those things. Right, so let's just go through what people are saying here. Right, Ruben Guerrero says, Ben Davison didn't change Fury's style, though. Was more just there to help Fury lose weight. But Xavier will have more impact on Whyte's style. Okay, if you say so. Would you want to see Whyte versus Fury before undisputed fight? I'd like Dillian Whyte to get his world title shot. That's what I'd like. If Whyte does 1 million buys on this pay-per-view, then this money talk will be no more valid. It's possible, as everyone will be watching it as the first pay-per-view back on Sky. Okay, right. How much promotion has there been for Whyte versus Povetkin? Has there been a lot of promotion on Sky for Whyte versus Povetkin? I don't know, but I do know if Dillian Whyte had fought in America and then came back and had this fight against Povetkin, I think you would have made more noise with it. That's what I think. So by being independent, who do we blame for all the mandatory that have been turned down? Mandatory's been turned down. Let me ask you a question. Can somebody please do me a favor? Or as Frank Warren would say, do me a favor. Dillian Whyte was the WBC silver title holder. Somebody please Google that stuff now as to what you're entitled to as a WBC silver holder. As far as I'm concerned, once you became a WBC silver holder, it entitled you to a world title shot. So all this nonsense about mandatory shots, I don't know where it all came from. All I know is that Manuel Shah had that silver title, and the next thing he was fighting Klitschko. That's all I know. That silver title was a belt that was given so that the next title shot, the next time you were next title challenger once you had that silver title. That's how it was. I don't know about this mandatory crap. That's just some spin talk. Let's see. My man, Coach Chris, how you doing, brother? Whyte could do 1 million buys on this pay-per-view, then what? All this talk about not being a draw, not bringing in big bucks will no longer stand. He could do 1 million buys, but will he do 1 million? Could and would and will. That's 3 different things. Kenny, I could put £100 in your bank account. Kenny, I should put £100 in your bank account. Could and should doesn't mean will. So I don't want to hear about no pay-per-view figures, right? Because as far as I'm concerned, even if he does 1 million pay-per-view buys in the UK, that still don't mean nothing. Do 1 million pay-per-view buys in America. Come on, man. Dillian Whyte's biggest fight was against Malcolm Tan. That's it. There was nobody in the arena. And I'm not dissing Dillian Whyte. It is what it is. And I think that if he had fought some fights, yes, he got the pay-per-view fights in England, but that doesn't really count for much. If the American public had seen him in Showtime or seen him fighting in America in a good on a good card, let's say him fighting Oscar Rivas in America, that'd have been a good fight. Him fighting Robert Helenius in America, I would have seen that. I'd rather watch Dillian Whyte versus Oscar Rivas than Tyson Fury versus Otto Wallin. Come on. Whyte does have a good left hook. He does. Wider left hook. UFC just, let me tell you, I'm going to talk about UFC. UFC just did 1.4 million buys in the UK with their first pay-per-view back. Yeah, but UFC start is in America, my friend, with a man in the main event with over 14 losses. So anything is possible for Whyte. He could do a million buys. Then what? Let me tell you, UFC is amazing. UFC is amazing. And I'm about to say something that's going to sound damn very controversial, but you're going to have to hear me out. I enjoy sitting down to watch UFC. I enjoy it. I enjoy the fights. I enjoy the presentation. I enjoy the commentary. I must have heard at least 5 times the word said, he must be the greatest featherweight or the greatest this or the greatest that, or she's making a comeback now. And I never heard, at no point, at any point in time did I hear, this is the end of the road. This must be surely the last fight. I was entertained. I didn't know who the people were, but just by the commentators alone, they built a story. They gave me a background. I enjoyed it. Watching boxing is a pain. It's painful. It's a painful experience. Watching UFC is a great experience. I'm telling you, it really is fan-friendly. You know, UFC, I'm telling you, UFC has that same effect when I first started watching WWF for wrestling. Hulkamania and the Ultimate Warrior and Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage and Jake the Snake Roberts. Yeah, that's what it was like. I enjoyed it. I don't enjoy boxing. I just don't enjoy it. It's not doing the same for me anymore. It really isn't. And I'm thinking, saying, you know what? UFC actually is better than boxing. I'm actually sitting down thinking UFC is better than boxing. I'm actually being convinced of this stuff. And like, I don't listen. Half the people that fought at that UFC show, I wasn't interested in. But then when I saw the main event was talking about Masvidal fighting that other guy, I was like, this looks a tasty fight. Imagine he pulled it off. I didn't know much about Masvidal, but I started looking him up. I thought, okay, all right, 6 days notice, all right, whatever. He's jumping in. Full credit to him. All right, I watched this, and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. You know, I enjoyed the press conference afterwards. I was cool. I liked it. I liked the whole presentation. I'm saying, I love UFC. I love UFC. I love UFC. I love it. I didn't like what was happening with poor Aldo. It took about 20 punches to his head. That referee needs to be sacked. But overall, I loved the UFC. I loved the presentation. I loved it. I just love everything. Even the bit where what's her name? Olivier, what's her name? The girl from UFC was doing the presentation. And she was talking, and the fighters were coming out to fight. And you see her talking. Loved it. I mean, even though they didn't have no one in the arena, it felt that still had a big atmosphere. Loved it. I just the boxing. I don't know. I never fall in love with. I'm losing it, but I don't know. Why is due his comeuppance? His sneaky ways have not been forgotten. Dodgy gloves, B samples, and now snaking tips. Okay. Interesting, says Macy Cartel. White is very annoying. Keeps crying out about not getting title shot despite turning down routes to belts, and now is threatening to delay undisputed. Okay. Let's talk about that WBC silver title, please. I think we know the reasons why Povetkin gets his second win in fights. Yeah, we do. White has some of the worst cardio ever. Interesting. Now, being with Xavier Miller, will that change? White without juice is done. Okay. Warren says he would have got the shot he shot a silver champion if he was not with Hearn. Right. Boom. Here we go. Let's start talking. Dillian Whyte seems very, very, very patriotic, and I wonder if that keeps him from going to the US, even though the US would love him. The US would love him. Dillian Whyte, I'm going to go one step further. Dillian Whyte is the 2020 version of Donovan Razor Ruddock. Dillian Whyte is the 2020 version of Donovan Razor Ruddock. Donovan Razor Ruddock was a bad man, right? And he had one big punch. That was his left hook. I think White's a better boxer than Razor Ruddock. Both Jamaican, both tell it as it is. Will Dillian Whyte end up becoming world champion, or will he end up being like Donovan Razor Ruddock, known as a very good fighter or a puncher boxer with the left hand, but not becoming world champion? Think going States is a gamble for Dillian. Has definitely going well, getting well paid here in the UK, and the heavyweight division is biggest here. See here? This is why I have a problem. This is what I have a problem with. Why is it a gamble going to the States? How can it be a gamble to get like 30 more million people watching you fight? How's that a gamble? That just makes no sense. And heavyweight is biggest here. Why is it the biggest here? Why is heavyweight division biggest here? I've noticed both Joshua and Fury have both fought in America, and I would like to remind you that Tyson Fury was not selling tickets when he was in the UK. It was in America. It was his journey to America that's made him who he is today. Just a reminder. When he beat Klitschko and he came back, yeah, he was champion. But nobody can tell me that Tyson Fury was supported the same way that he is when he's out in America. Nobody can tell me that. And he gets much more viewership. Do you think if Tyson Fury remained in UK, he'd be in WWE? Come on, man. Don't talk nonsense. And he wouldn't be able to sell out 2 arenas fighting Chisora in States. Well, he wouldn't fight Chisora in the States, would he? Because if he was in the States, he would have been with Bob Arum. No, man. No, you don't make sense. You don't make sense. Not sense whatsoever. If you remember the interview I did with Bob Arum laid out what Dillian Whyte would need to do. He said, if he comes to America, I will get him on ESPN. I'm going to get him fighting two good Americans, and then we'll get him a world title shot. That's who was saying along those lines. And I believe Bob in that. He would have to build over a couple of bouts. Yeah, he would. And that's my point. I would rather have sacrificed the pay-per-views to fight 2 guys in America and then get my name out on ESPN. That's what I would have done. But I agree, he has to personally become a crossover star in the States. I would have had him fight in the States, and while him fighting in the States, that would have been a great opportunity for him to sell himself on the UFC. Talk to me. Whyte could have sold himself as a UFC fighter, as a potential UFC fighter. How could he not have done well in America? You just don't manage. You see, when you don't have vision, you talk stuff like that. But Dillian Whyte is sellable because he had a kickboxing background. #1 contender for the WBC title. Tyson Fury is the guy that he would have been fighting. So he could have spun off the back of Tyson Fury. He could have gone to America and made his name, done his name on the back of chasing Tyson Fury. He could have done it. I'm the guy that Tyson Fury's ducking. Look at me, America. I'm the guy Tyson Fury's ducking. Look at me, America. I'm the guy that Dillian Whyte doesn't want to fight. Instead of, well, you're the guy that got beat by Anthony Joshua. And that's how people talk about Dillian Whyte. Right? Wilder was custom built to become a US star, but even he wasn't that big. No. Garbage. The reason why people don't like Wilder, majority of them are racist that don't like Wilder because they don't like what Wilder has to say. Wilder speaks it and tells it as it is and speaks his truth. That's why people don't like Wilder. That's why people don't understand Wilder. Wilder speaks his truth. A lot of you all that run up and run after Mike Tyson and run after Muhammad Ali would get deeply offended by guys like Muhammad Ali and Tyson because he tell you as it is. If you don't like Wilder, I don't know how you're going to like Muhammad Ali, and I don't know how you're going to like Mike Tyson. Deontay Wilder speaks it as it is. Tyson Fury speaks it as it is, and he got hell in the UK for it. Joshua, they want to talk. Oh, Joshua's a media type. Me, Joshua's this. Joshua's that. Joshua's this. He say the same nonsense about Joshua. So I don't want to hear that nonsense about Wilder was custom built and all this garbage. Do you hate White for grinning while Bazza called him a slave? They slate him. Yeah, I know that's a situation, but there we have an expression in the Caribbean. It goes, you kiss ass first, you kick it later. Or you don't kiss it, but you kick it. So in a situation like this, I probably would have smiled as well. Because I'm like, what the hell did you just say? I'm live on TV. What the hell did you don't expect someone to come out and say stuff like that, man. You don't expect somebody to come out just out of nowhere and say that. I was stunned. I think he laughed and he was stunned. He probably said, what the hell is he talking about? But you can't switch on like that. You got to smile and keep it cool. Or he probably knows and he just said, you know what? I know what you're about. That's cool. Just pay me my damn money. So I don't know. I'm not. I understand where people are coming from that, but I think people are a bit harsh. Why is another Joshua back and will drop out once he travels and he ain't in control of his juice? Interesting. It's a gamble because why did AJ wait till so many title defenses to fight in America? Because AJ ain't in control of his career. If you believe AJ's in control of his career, then you need to wake up and smell the roses. AJ is owned. AJ is owned. AJ is a brand. Do you understand? AJ's business. AJ can't open his mouth too wide. Send him back to what? Say, listen. Hey, I saw you. That Black Lives Matter. You need to go and disappear somewhere. Now he's doing a damn commercial with. This is the same guy that will say, no, we don't need to go to America. They can come here. Next minute, he's in America. AJ is not in control of his whole career. He's got backers who've got has got a lot of money. So AJ's a business and many people invested. That's why. They got as much as they could out of the UK and knew they had to go to the American market. But they didn't want to fight Don King's fighter. So they ended up fighting Andy Ruiz. And that's why you have the situation we have today. At the end of the day, if Dillian doesn't want to sell his soul and join the club, then it's obvious he won't ever get his mainstream crossover success. No amount of management will change that. Disagree. By the way, it works. Either join the club or stay in the dark. No, I disagree with you there. Because I can't agree with that way. Laughing can be a way to diffuse an enemy, a la the white hern slave comment racism. Yes, that's what I said. So, being a business, they didn't want to take the risk, meaning it's a gamble. LOL. What do you mean, being a business, they didn't want to take the risk? Of course, I took the damn risk. Took him to America. I took him to America, and they didn't think it was a risk. It was arrogance. That's why Joshua got knocked out. Arrogance. They thought he was just a fat boy. That's what it is. Arrogance. You heard it. Arrogance. And you believe your own hype, that's what happens. So, you know, Coach Chris, if you're still in the room, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. So, I don't know. You see, I would love to know what would happen. See, obviously, Eddie Hearn cannot turn around and say that Dillian Whyte is the best thing since sliced bread, because his first priority is Anthony Joshua. Now, I always said I thought the Whyte should go with Frank Warren. And if Frank Warren in the future gets a deal with Sky and Dillian Whyte can maneuver his way past Povetkin, then there's every possibility you could see Dillian Whyte. I mean, think about it. Dillian Whyte and Frank Warren working together. But check this out. Not only Dillian Whyte and Frank Warren working together, we know Xavier has got ties to Don Charles. And Don Charles has got ties to Frank Warren. So could we be seeing potentially Dillian Whyte shifting over to Frank Warren in the future? Don Charles, Xavier Miller, they have good relationship with Don Charles, with Frank Warren. Could it be the case that after this fight with Dillian Whyte, we could see Whyte completely shifting to Frank Warren? I mean, I don't know. Ingram, the main man, Berlanga is fighting tonight. Is he? I thought Berlanga was fighting the 21st or the 25th. Is he? Well, I'll have to do some commentary on that then, won't I? Mass money in boxing seems to be killing boxing. Yes, it does. Joshua's 5 minutes is up. People will rejoice when he gets beat. Want to know more from Coach Chris about the cardio problems of Dillian Whyte? Yeah, I do as well. If Coach Chris wants to come in, I'd love to hear what he's got to say about it. Berlanga's fighting tonight. I didn't think Berlanga was fighting tonight. I thought Berlanga was fighting on the 21st. Why do you think Whyte hasn't left Hearn yet? Says Matt B. I don't know. It might be contractual. But if you think about it, if it's me and I'm making chess moves, I know that Mark Tibbs and Eddie Hearn are of certain branch. Yeah, they're related somehow. I don't know how, if godchild or godson or godfather or something, but they're related. They're in the family. Tibbs and Hearn are family, right? So, what would you do? You've got Xavier Miller as your trainer, but Xavier Miller is more from, you could say, I don't know. He's worked with Don Charles. Don Charles is from the Frank Warren universe, right? So I'm going to use this like DC and Marvel, right? So currently he's at Marvel, and currently he's at Marvel, and he could switch to DC or SmackDown versus Raw. That's probably better. SmackDown versus Raw. Eddie Hearn could be Raw, and Frank can be SmackDown, right? And he's currently at Raw at the moment, and the trainer he's working with actually is a SmackDown trainer, right? So, okay, this is a hypothetical, but if Xavier Miller and Don Charles, they're quite close, and that's all Frank Warren, and the Frank Warren's Tung Jai, all that's over that side, yeah? If they were to shift all their fighters over to Xavier Miller, then Whyte finished his last fight off with contractually, or this last fight with Povetkin. This fight was always on the cards, it was always signed. He gets for the Povetkin fight, and then he shifts himself over with the WBC silver title over to Frank Warren. Then you could see a fight between Fury and Whyte, because Frank Warren it's an in-house fight between Whyte and Fury. Do you see how that could work? That's how that could work. Remember, Fury for last time round was left in the park. He was exposed even in the world. Look what happened as soon as he played to their tune and joined the club. He became a star. But hold on, haven't I talked about this before? Didn't I talk about how this country loves to a guy that's doing okay, knock him down and bring him back again? What they did to David Beckham. They destroyed Beckham when he did that kick at the World Cup. And then he came back and became a hero, yeah? And nobody talked about that Beckham now, do they? I don't know. It's hard. It will be hard for Whyte or any fighter to become a star without joining the club. Yeah, it's strange. One thing's White's been on fight by fight contract for so long, so you can't really say Eddie's been stringing him along. Hey, I remember he said, I'm only invested in people that invested in me, and I'll do more for people who are invested in me. You ever heard him say that? I've heard him say that nonsense a few times. So what I was basically saying, if you sign the contract with me, I'll look after you. You don't sign the contract with me, you look after yourself. So that's garbage, Ruben. White has prided himself on being independent and being on fight by fight contracts so much so that the event went to see other promoters like a year ago. That was after my interview with Bob Arum. Straight after my interview with Bob Arum, he was flying out to America. Something must have changed for White to decide to stay on after those meetings. Ingram, do you think younger fighters are able to see the limitations of matchrooms now? They've always been limited. Always been limited. They don't know how. They know how to promote a fighter. They don't know how to manage a fighter. They don't know how to manage a fighter. They've never known how to manage a fighter. They don't know how to manage a young fighter's career. And I'm surprised. The only reason why Conor Brennan hasn't been thrown in the bus yet is because Nigel might put his fist through both the horns. But I mean, at some point they're gonna have to let him off. Let him off. Oh, Conor Ben. So that's common sense. Though, why invest in someone if they haven't made commitment to you? So then it answers your own question going back about the promoter early on when you said about him stringing White along. Yeah, he has strung White along. He's made promises, and obviously he's made promises because White should carry on like a kid in a candy shop who when dad says, look, you know what? You clean your room. After you clean your room, I'm gonna make sure that you get the candy. And you're in the candy store after you've cleaned your room, and daddy says, no, not today, son. No candy for you. And you go, yeah, it's candy time. No, it's not yet. Next time we come, next time you clean your room, we're gonna go to the candy store. And that's it, really. So it don't make sense. Sorry. Again, think about it. I know you love Matchroom. We know you're a Matchroom guy, so we know you're a Matchroom guy. We know you've always been a Matchroom guy, and you never seem to learn the lesson. You seem to go through life with the same things over and over. It gets boring now, man. Ruben, it's boring. So if I'm creative, and I know, because boxing is a small circle, but if Frank Warren is going to get a deal with Sky in the future, and then his contract is come to an end, and you know that's going to happen, and you want to show some sort of loyalty, you pull your fighters out from working with Tibbs. Pull them over to Xavier Miller. Xavier and you move over to Frank Warren, and then you got the move. And I tell you what, that would be a great move if Dillian Whyte were to move from Sky Sports to BT Sports. It would be a great move. It would be a great move because check this: you've got UFC already over on BT Sports. There's a potential of White crossing over to fight in the UFC. You've also got Tyson Fury fighting in BT Sports, and you can build the big fight between Tyson Fury and Dillian Whyte. So I think that would work perfectly if we're talking business. So does anybody want to talk a little bit more about that? Liv? Let's see, Liv? Kenny? Matt B, what do you think? The potential of Dillian Whyte working with Frank Warren should he beat Povetkin after this fight? To me, it's a great move. You move to BT. BT have got the UFC. They've also got Tyson Fury, and you could be the next pay-per-view star on there. If you beat Povetkin, you've now become one of only 3 men to beat Alexander Povetkin, and the style in which you beat Povetkin in. You beat Povetkin, you're at the cusp, you're right there. And then they can make the fight between Whyte and Fury. And then he doesn't have to get caught up in all the you fight Usyk next because you're caught with Matchroom. You leave that nonsense, you come over and you go and fight on BT Sports. What if Warren does the same with Dillian, putting him in with Joyce and Dubois after getting to Fury? If he gets to Fury, listen. If Whyte gets past Povetkin and he gets to fight against Fury, win, lose or draw, Warren has delivered in a world title shot. If Whyte went to Frank Warren tomorrow, I could see 50% more interest, 50% more interest in the heavyweight division overnight. There you go. There you go. Dillian, Xavier, Dean, I hope you're listening. And I'm sure you know where I'm coming from with this. If you go and work with Frank, right, and Frank's only job is to get you that shot for the World Heavyweight Championship, a fight between Tyson Fury and Dillian Whyte on BT Sports. You take the money from Sky, you go to BT Sports. You now got the guy that beat Povetkin, and Dillian Whyte and Tyson Fury can build. Or, yeah, that's it. So Tyson Fury has to get through his fight with Deontay Wilder. In the interim of that, potentially, Dillian Whyte could have some sort of a fight, that could just a showcase fight if you wanted to, a showcase fight. Or what could happen is Dillian Whyte is there at BT Studios as the villain. Dillian Whyte could cross over as the BT villain. He could cross over as the guy that's chasing Tyson Fury, and he could really play the part, the pantomime part. Right? I want my fight with Tyson Fury. He goes over, he signs with Frank on a fight by fight basis, and he says to Frank, "Look, I just want a world title shot. I just want my title shot. I want my title shot. You telling me the fans wouldn't want that?" Or Frank can say, "You know what? Leave Tyson alone. We're going to push for the Joshua fight." Frank's a powerful man. Frank can do things. You know, ESPN backing Dillian Whyte. Come on, Whyte versus Joshua. See, not only do you have a broadcaster that's forget Sky, a broadcasting ESPN. I mean, how many more you've got? You got the American, you got the Mexican. It's such a bigger network. You got to remember, if you haven't traveled, how big America is, and how many TVs will be showing Dillian Whyte fighting. I'm sorry, but I don't want. Nobody can tell me nothing about Frank Warren can't make fights that happen or losing purse bids. Don't tell me nothing about no Frank Warren doing that. Frank knows what he's doing. If he signs with Warren, who would be the first fight? Tyson Fury. The Fury fight or the Wilder fight. Whoever wins the third fight between Wilder and Fury, that'll be his first fight. This is. He could sign to Warren and then be given to Dubois and Joyce. And no. That's why contracts are in place. That's why contracts are in place. No. The road to nowhere only happens with Hearn. No. Now you see, you're taking that matchroom mentality and you're trying to bring that nonsense over to Frank Warren. Don't do that. Keep the matchroom stuff over in matchroom. Keep that matchroom stuff over at matchroom. Do you understand? Leave that garbage in matchroom. You're talking about Hall of Fame manager, right, or promoter in Frank Warren, who knows how to build fighters. And you're bringing this. You're comparing Frank Warren now to a promoter who doesn't have a clue about to managing fighters. No, stop it, man. Behave yourselves. Stop it. I don't want to hear that kind of nonsense. I'm not even gonna answer it. Oh dear me. No, no. Lakvinder Singh. Good morning, Lakvinder. How you doing? Ingram giving multiple examples of how to build Dillian Whyte's story for bouts. Eddie Hearn, take note. I know. I'm ignoring. I'm just ignoring him now. They're just pushing this. They're just pushing a. Just pushing a matchroom agenda. They're not listening. So I'm not. I'm not even putting the comments up. But let me and you talk, Leif, because they don't want to listen. They're just pushing this matchroom drivel. Just take this a second. So Dillian Whyte joins. Let's imagine Dillian Whyte joining BT Sports for a second. All right, he signs a contract with BT Sports, and it's an exclusive contract with Frank Warren himself to deliver the Tyson Fury fight. All right, Fury beats. Fury beats. What's his name? Fury beats Wilder. Now, is it possible for Frank to get Whyte highly ranked in the WBA? Is it possible that Frank could get down at WBA title shot for Dillian Whyte? Is that possible? Is that possible? I mean, if you ask me, you've got Usyk, who's going to be a problem, right? And you know already that if Dillian Whyte beats Povetkin, they're going to try and push that Usyk fight for him as a stumbling block. If Warren offers the winner of Fury Wilder, I don't see why Whyte should say no if he wants that title fight. That's what I'm saying. Do you think Whyte would make Fury before Undisputed? Well, I don't know what planet you're on, Ruben. I think maybe you're on planet not listening. But I thought there was a ruling by I thought Whyte went and had legal battle with the WBC, and the WBC said that Fury must face Whyte before the Undisputed fight. So I don't know what you're talking about. WBC ruled that Fury must face Dillian Whyte before an Undisputed fight. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? And if that's the legal situation, that further enforces what I'm saying about Whyte leaving Tibbs and leaving and taking all the fighters over and potentially going working with Frank Warren in the future. Thank you so much, Mr. Watcher. Isn't Fury co-promoted by Arum too? So Arum and Warren would need to prioritize Whyte over Fury. No, there's a legal stipulation that the WBC heavyweight champion of the world must face Dillian Whyte. Right? That's legal. So what was it? Shall we get up again? Shall I pull it up for you to read it again? Well, I don't really want to use the sun as an example, but it's the first thing that comes up. Let's see what else. Oh, there we go. Oh dear. You know, sometimes let me use this for a second. Which leads me to this. Ladies and gentlemen, guys and girls, article. These are the facts. Tyson Fury has to fight Dillian Whyte before, I'm say it again, before taking on Anthony Joshua, says WBC chief after the body snatcher takes legal action over mandatory title defense. Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua have an agreement for 2 fights next year. Fury must first fight Deontay Wilder, while Joshua must face Kubrat Pulev. Fury also has a mandatory, third time, mandatory WBC title challenger in the form of Dillian Whyte. The Brit has the sanctioning body #1 contender for over 1,000 days. Okay. WC says Tyson Fury must fight interim champion Dillian Whyte before facing Anthony Joshua if he is to retain the title. President Mauricio Suleiman claims Whyte will get his title shot, while adding Fury fight with AJ is just speculation. He told Boxing Insider Radio, for WBC, there is a mandatory title defense that the champion has to make. The mandatory challenger is the interim champion, Dillian Whyte. He has the right to enforce his title shot after the Wilder Fury third fight. Joshua versus Fury is just speculation. They have both come out and said they have a deal, which is very good. But there are many things that must take place before that actually happens. Right now, we don't know when boxing is going to resume for some specific fights, such as a rematch between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. We don't know if that fight will happen October, November, December, or next year. We cannot control that. But for the WBC, there is a legal contract that they have signed for a third fight between Wilder and Fury. Dear me. Dear me. And people still talking rubbish about unification. So does anybody want to keep talking nonsense about unification? I can see why Whyte has now got rid of Mark Tibbs. Probably got rid of Mark Tibbs. He's gonna. I don't know, but if I'm just using my spider sense, I'll think that Dillian Whyte is getting ready to work with Frank Warren and doesn't want any ties to Eddie Hearn whatsoever. And that's the way you just get yourself off, get rid of Mark Tibbs as trainer, so there's no connection there. Working with Xavier Miller, so it gets more in-house. All the fighters leave from Mark Tibbs and start training with Xavier Miller, and they all transfer over to Frank Warren because Frank, Don, Tunde, they all have that good relationship over there with Frank Warren. And so they know that Dillian Whyte and that legal battle, whatever happened in that legal battle, Dillian Whyte and now is going to be prime position, should he beat Povetkin, in prime position to be with Frank Warren and get the fight over in BT Sports. So even if he don't get the Sky Sports deal, he's still got BT Sports and he's got the opportunity to become a real crossover star and a household name on BT Sports. So there we go. I bet now, even if I brought this up, somebody's going to come up with some smart ideas. Okay, says, stylistically, who would you pick for Whyte to face for the WBC belt in the Fury Wilder outcome? Would Wilder Whyte be more suited for him, or sticking with Fury to be an easier fight? I prefer Tyson Fury for Dillian Whyte. He knows Dillian Whyte, but Dillian Whyte knows Tyson Fury. He knows what Tyson Fury is about. I think Wilder's a different opposition or animal altogether. Don't know why my comments are not coming out. For some reason, I can't read my comments. So let's see if I can. So let me see here. me see if I can find something for you on this. So I can read your comments, because I can't read your comments at the moment. For some reason, it's freezing. Fair play, though. Thought legal case was still ongoing. Must have. Hold on. Must have been short legal case. Well, it didn't go that far, the legal case. I can't read your comments. I don't know why it's frozen here at the moment. But news came out of this suing mid-June. Kenny says, I agree. Fury would be a better choice. He dropped him many times in sparring. So to me, if you're asking my opinion, and this is my opinion, right? I actually think that Whyte's looking to wind up his dealings with Matchroom and move to Frank Warren. That's what it looks like to me. That's what it looks like to me. You know, and while he and make the most he can with his fighters, getting them the profiles they can on being on Sky for the time being. But imagine if now Dillian Whyte's site would work with Frank Warren on a promotional basis, and his only, because to be honest, I can't even believe people mention Joe Joyce and Daniel Dubois. How the hell did they come into the equation? How do they come into the equation? Those guys have got their own way. I think for me, it looks like Joe Joyce is going down the WBA route. Because he fought Stavern. He looked like he was going the WBA route. And that I thought that was their target anyway. And I believe that Joyce is going to beat Daniel Dubois anyway. So just think the fight's too soon for Daniel Dubois. But yeah. I wonder if there's never been a better time to sign with Frank Warren, because there seems to be a plan to get certain fighters into positions, and Warren's still old school. Yeah, he is. I do believe that. Don't know what's going on here. Don't White. Read your comments. Hello. If White leaves Eddie and Pulev beats Femini, Matchroom down the gutter. Well, no, you're a Matchroom supporter, innit? You're a Matchroom all the way. So yeah. Don't know why my comments are doing that. Let me see if I were to refresh the button. And there, just use the refresh button there. I don't believe that White has enough to beat Wilder or Fury or Wilder. This may sound really crazy, but he's more reckless than Wilder. Nah, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that statement. Sorry, I don't agree with that statement whatsoever at all. Maybe he might not be enough to beat Fury or Wilder, but I don't know. I don't agree with that statement. Why didn't Warren deliver the big fights, Billy Joe, if you're going with this Warren narrative of getting big fights? Because the fighter didn't want it. The fighter didn't want it. The fighter didn't want it. Well, okay, what's Eddie done with him? What's Eddie done so fantastic with him? The fighter didn't want it. I'm going to go down and I've got enough years with Frank Warren to know what Frank Warren's about. Frank Warren delivers. And some of the legends of boxing we're talking about is because of Frank Warren, not Eddie. When the likes of Chris Eubank was under Eddie Hearn and Barry Hearn, but Eubank was his own. It was his own man, did his own thing. Nigel Benn, Prince Nassim Hamid, Joe Kawasaki, Ricky Hatton. Those are 4 guys already we're talking about have got long runs, long unbeaten runs, or and world champions. So it's not anti-rack Matchroom. I'm anti-BS. All right, I'm anti-BS, and I'm not. I'm anti-BS, and I'm not. See, one is show and one is substance. I'm a substance guy. I'm not a show guy. I'm a substance guy. And if you look down the track records of the both setups, how many young fighters have been ruined going down that promotion? How many young fighters have been ruined? Ruined. Guys like Ted Cheeseman by now should be a household name. Ted Cheeseman should be like the Ricky Hatton of 2020. That's what Ted Cheeseman should be. He should have been building his letter up, fighting guys, older American guys, and getting his name, building his reputation. That's what Ted Cheeseman should have been doing. You know what I mean? Ted Cheeseman should not have been, should not have been pushed as hard. He was a young guy as well. Now flipping Ted Cheeseman's fighting bloody Sam Eggington. What? Billy just sort of seemed to stop his own success. Eddie has given Whyte the pay-per-views in terms of actually getting a shot at the belt. Not so much. No. So, Watcher, I'll go back to you again, and I keep throwing this out there. The WBC silver belt, as far as I saw, the silver belt put you in a position to be world champion, or to fight the world champion. Why is it that when Whyte actually went to WBC to go for to take illegal action, what happened? What happened when he went to take illegal action? Suddenly becomes mandatory. And all this crazy talk. He didn't have to fight Luis Ortiz. He had the WBC silver belt. People are not acknowledging that WBC silver belt because that's what it is. And then he fought for the interim title. So what the hell does he need to fight Luis Ortiz for? Who's already fought for 2 damn world titles already? May I remind you all. Surely Billy Joe and Killala would have had a fight by now, or Billy Joe and GG Warren wasn't this powerful. I agree Hearn has failed at that as well, not just Warren. Billy Joe didn't want to fight, simple as that. Ingram is a function guy and not a show guy. That's what I like as well. The big fights, who is the best, and let's see it. That's it. I don't want to hear anything about. I'm not interested. I'm frankly not interested in the politics of boxing. A lot of you get caught up in the politics of boxing and don't understand. If you spend more time understanding the business of boxing, right, and spend less time being puppets of the politics of boxing and repeating the politics of boxing, you'd actually learn something about the sport. You'd actually learn something about the sport. This is business first. Promoters don't care about fans. They never have done. And fans think that they're entitled to certain things. They're not. They should be, but they're not. Brazil had to fight an eliminator. Yeah? And who's the eliminator against? Please let me know. Why are you talking about him being eliminated? Who's the eliminator that Brazil had to fight? I'm waiting. Let me ask you how many eliminators. By the way, when Brazil fought for the eliminator, wasn't Whyte already the WBC silver champion? They leapfrogged Whyte and fought Wilder, from what I remembered. Hearn was probably only giving Whyte all those pay-per-view opportunities in hope he would lose. Tough fight after tough fight. There you go. That was the plan. Yeah. Ingram, sorry. Yeah. I don't care about the politics of it. The fights is what I want. Exactly. The fight. Listen. The reason why Wilder and Joshua never happened is squarely at the door of Matchroom. That's it. That's it. There ain't no one else to blame. The biggest fight in boxing history, or in recent times of boxing, $100 million fight. Joshua versus Wilder. And why couldn't that fight happen? Because Bazza didn't want it until 2021. But all these people running around on YouTube The evidence is there. The video is there. We all still people come running around again. They don't see these people. The thing is, they have video evidence. Look at that situation I just showed you about the legal situation with White. People still here talking about mandatory shots and talking about all sorts of other drivel. The WBC knew they were in the wrong, and they didn't even. They how long did it take? He said he was going to take legal action, and 2-2s. They're now talking about him being a mandatory. He should have done fought for that title a long time ago. Forget Luis Ortiz. Forget Dominic Brazil. I just don't get it. How long will they have White toiling in the wilderness? When will he get a shot? They did the same stuff to Carl the Truth Williams. They did the same stuff to Carl the Truth Williams. They did it against Alushigan, Jose Alushigan. Who else they do it to? Did to quite a few fighters. I think they may have done it to Billy Schwerer as well for a while. Was the Brazil eliminated against Molina? Oh my God. It's right what Ingram is saying. Why should Dillian Whyte agree to have more roads to nowhere fights with Ortiz and all these guys? Isn't 1,000 days enough for fighting? Enough, exactly. Shocking. Whyte was offered the fight with Brazil but turned it down due to late notice. Everyone in the top 10 turned it down. Still boring to discuss. LOL. Like I said, I just want to see the fights. Yes. But why would you have to fight Dominic Brazil if you have the silver title? The silver title puts you in prime position to fight the champion. Why are you fighting? You fight for this to get the silver title because that's your guarantee to fight the champion. Why are you fighting Dominic Brazil? So then what have you got the silver title for? It doesn't make sense. Think about it. Could somebody please do me a favor? Go on Google and Google WBC silver title and what that means, please. Very good point. Start making Matchroom accountable for failing fighters. Of course you should. It's all about substance versus show. Let's be honest. The last show Matchroom did in America, I'm talking about that show, or it's the Zone, the night that Joshua got his ass kicked, Josh Kelly got his ass kicked, and Kate Taylor got her ass kicked. Shall we talk about that night? Huh? I agree. I wanted White versus Wilder. I wanted Wilder versus Joshua. That's what I wanted. That's what I want. That's why I think the world wanted that. But if the world will just take a look at the video evidence, in fact, you know, the only way for White is to shut up these press conferences and embarrass these fighters. Look at how Arizona Lara did it. Showed up to Canelo's post-fight and called him out. No, that doesn't quite work. That doesn't quite work because we know Billy just almost did the same thing. Remember? He was at a press conference. He was in the back making some noise to either Golovkin, I think it's Golovkin or Canelo, one or two who's calling out. Oi, Ingram, do me a favour. Look, I'm going to do you all a favour. Let me see if I can find this video. I'm trying to find the interview where Barry Hearn is asked about Wilder versus Joshua, and he says that fight should happen until 2021. Remember, Chisora called out Charles Martin post press conference 2016, and how did that turn out? No, not like Billy Joe Saunders. Erislandy Lara actually up on the next to Canelo because someone snuck him in. It was impossible to ignore him. Yeah, and he did make a difference because Lara, I thought he outboxed Canelo tonight, and he still didn't get the decision he deserved. Don't know how. Canelo looked really sheepish with the guy speaking at the podium at his own press conference demanding a shot. I'm going to do it myself. I'm going to do it. WBC silver belt. What is a WBC silver belt? Ah! So let's do this here. Because we've got so many experts in the house about the WBC. Chisora versus Martin was never going to happen. Was funny though. Yeah, Barry Hearn said it shouldn't happen. Notorious clip. That's it. There we go. Here's another thing here for everybody. I'm going to do this tonight because I'm fed up of people talking about Whyte and WBC in this sense. So I'm going to bring it up with what we know it is, as opposed to what people think it is. What is WBC silver belt? Let's find out what it is. So according to the silver WBC belt, the silver world title belt was created in 2010. Justin Savvy was the first to win it on 16th of April 2010. A boxer holding the silver title cannot inherit the full title vacated by the champion. The WBC recognized the interim and silver champions as well as interim silver champions. So, okay. Here we go. Good old Dan Raphael's got a blog here talking about the WBC silver title. Okay. Truth about titles. I don't know if this will help or not. It could just be an opinion. Okay, let's just have a look quickly and see if there's anything here that talks about the silver title. European titles, Irish title, Irish belts, British Boxing Board of Control, other belts, Commonwealth belt, state title, world title eliminators, commemorative belts. No, he doesn't talk about silver title. I just thought we just used that quickly, but let's get back here. The silver championship, the silver was created in 2010. The boxer holding the silver title can inherit the full title vacated by champion. Yeah, if you're reading exactly what I wrote, yeah, it's confusing. Whyte won the belt before Brazil fought the eliminated. There you go. So there you go. That clears that one up. So there must have been if you notice the timing of the legal battle with WBC, then as soon as that legal battle is done and Whyte gets a favourable movement, Tibbs gets shifted out of the way. If you look at the time of it, and all the time in the background, Xavier has been working with Dillian Whyte. This will go on, but we'll know more. If Dillian Whyte wins this fight, believe me, there's no certainty he will win this fight because Boxing's a funny business, and they'll do what they can. Dare I say, Povetkin may return. Povetkin might return, and if Povetkin returns, I don't know. The return of Povetkin. I mean, what's the possibility of Povetkin turning up? If Povetkin turns up, not say he does, but if Povetkin turns up, then how does that go against Dillian Whyte? How does Dillian Whyte deal with Povetkin? According to some of you, you would call it the battle of the juices. Or the juicers. Love to know what you're thinking about this as I bring this show to an end. Any thoughts? I do want to find that clip on. If I could find that clip with Barry Hearn, that would be interesting. I really would like that clip, so you can all listen to it for yourselves. Salute, brother. Salute. Good to see you in the room. Winner's a juicer. God. How would you rebuild White Square should he lose to Povetkin? What path would you take? Go to Frank Warren. I'll go to Frank. Get Frank to rebuild my career. Frank could do a good job. Frank could do a good job. Or even I'd sign with Al Heyman. I'd love to see Dillian Whyte sign with Al Heyman. Warrior, you're right about the juicing. Yeah, well, they want to stop this guy at all costs. Look, we know that Dillian Whyte. If anybody believes that they want Dillian Whyte to become, if you sit here and believe that the powers that be want Dillian Whyte to become champion, they carry on believing that. I don't believe it at all. I believe that they'll do anything they can to stop him becoming champion. And I don't think Dillian Whyte's letter to WBC would have made things any easier. Put it this way. What's happening, bro? Not a lot, bro. We've just been shooting the breeze. Having little chats here and there about the Whyte fight and Dillian Whyte and the silver title and Don't Brazil leapfrogging him. And well, what fights would you want Dillian if you were to lose? I'd like to see him fight Don't Brazil. I'd like to see him fight Luis Ortiz. I'd like to see him fight Big Baby Miller. Actually, you know, fight I'd love to see Dillian Whyte in. Dillian Whyte versus Bermane Stiverne. I'd like to see that fight. In fact, I'd love to see that fight. Whyte versus Stiverne. But I'd like to see Stiverne get 2 fights, quick back-to-back fights. I'd like to see Whyte versus Stiverne. And the winner is a knockout elimination for the WBA title. Yeah. I'll take Whyte down the WBA route. Like I always said, Dillian Whyte fighting for the WBA title. I always said it. I would have always managed him going down the WBA route. I wonder what would have happened if Dillian Whyte had fought gone down the WBA route. The champions, Marius, Marco, what's his name? Shah. So, you know, he's in that mix there. I don't know how much Joe Joyce would want to fight to in a rush. I don't know, but I definitely want to see Dillian Whyte in the WBA ratings. That's why I've gone on the WBA route. So I've just answered your question there. No Parker rematch. Flip say, come on, man. Behave. Will Povetkin get Dillian Whyte's Mandu position if he wins? If Dillian Whyte, if let's put it this way, if Fury were to get beat by Wilder, right, and Povetkin were to win, I can assure you, I can guarantee you, I could put my house on it that Wilder will have to face Povetkin. You just know how it works. You know how the business goes. Who the hell wants to see Whyte v Parker again? Why would you want to see that fight? See, I don't see. This is the sort of thing I'm talking about. Why would you want to see Parker v Whyte too? A man that got bullied. He got bullied in that fight, Parker. Why do you want to see a rematch of that? Parker's not going to bring anything different to the table. It's not like his trainer's teaching him anything new. Parker's going to do the same rubbish he's been doing every single fight. Parker talks real nice. You know, he's working things in camp. I love Parker. That's my boy. We're doing things in camp. We're training in camp. We're doing this in camp. We do new ideas in camp. I did it. You know, I'm hungrier than ever. I want to fight. I want to become champion of the world again. I did it. I'm a nice guy, Parker. I did it. And then what will end up happening, and then what will end up happening is that Parker won't learn how to block a left hook, and he'll get hit with a left hook the same way again. I can't see any difference. Who wins between Whyte and Povetkin? It's a good question, Watcher. I'm going to go 45% in favor of Povetkin. And here's my reasoning. Here's my thought process on it. Although Whyte's beaten Brown, Rivas, Hellenius, Parker. Although he's beaten those guys, and it's good, Povetkin would have beaten those guys too. I don't have any doubt about that. Povetkin's the most well-rounded, best boxer puncher, counter puncher that Dillian Whyte would have faced in his whole career. The best fighter bar none. He's been dropped by guys like Oscar Rivas and Joseph Parker. Now, while Xavier Miller is a very good trainer, he's not a magician. While August 22nd is just around the corner, Povetkin's just been working at being quite consistent. Same trainer and working, just grinding, just working and focusing on one thing. So Povetkin's only got one thing to worry about. Turn up to England and win. And Povetkin coming to England isn't the underdog. Povetkin coming to England is the guy that many people, they won't say out loud, want Whyte to get beat by. People are annoyed that Whyte went and took legal action. People are annoyed that Whyte has been screaming and shouting for his title shot. But people forget about the WBC silver belt and the interim title that he's got. People dismiss all that because they've been listening to the codswallop and the side talking from people who should be promoting him, but can't really promote him properly because they've already got a heavyweight there, who's heavyweight champion of the world. So, conflict of interest. I don't know if Dillian Whyte can make enough adjustments in time to be a better boxer than Alexander Povetkin. Povetkin's a more cleaner, more experienced fighter in the sense of how he puts things together. Two things have to happen on that night for me. Well, three things. If game plan A isn't working, Whyte can show he's adaptable. He's got to show he's got better stamina, because at the moment, Povetkin has shown me he's got better stamina than Dillian Whyte. Povetkin showed me he's got a second wind. Povetkin showed me that even at a hectic pace or against youngsters, even Hughie Fury couldn't control Povetkin. Joshua had problems with Povetkin. So if Dillian Whyte is still a good number on Povetkin, then to me, he's arrived. August 22nd is going to tell us answer a lot of questions about Dillian Whyte. So I'm just being honest here. If Dillian Whyte wins this fight, because I see him struggling, I'm sorry. I really am struggling. Because of the form guide. The last two main fights he's been dropped. Parker and Rivas has dropped him. And none of those guys are as clinical a finisher as Povetkin. None of those guys have got the Olympic pedigree as Povetkin. None of those guys are the class of Alexander Povetkin. Sorry. And if you're getting dropped by Povetkin, by them guys, if you're going down to those guys, then Povetkin can put the icing on the cake. It's a dangerous fight. It's a dangerous fight. Very dangerous fight. I see it played out like the Rivas fight. Maybe White struggling less. Wow, very interesting prediction. Rivas is not a better boxer than Povetkin. Rivas doesn't hit as hard as Povetkin. Rivas isn't as dedicated as Povetkin. No way. Povetkin's is a consummate pro. Say what you want about the Peds, but he's a consummate pro. Always comes in shape. Always comes fight ready. Always comes and gives his all. Povetkin don't sit and make excuses about, I had a bad night and all this crap. Povetkin's always on it. He's always on it. Povetkin, when he fought Michael Hunt, he didn't look like he could even get up the steps. I think Povetkin puts it on. I'm old. Yeah, I'm old. I'm slow. I'm this and that. All the old Russian mind games. And when he gets in the ring, I thought Michael Hunt would stop Povetkin. I thought Michael Hunt got out of it early and put it on Povetkin. But what happened to Michael Hunt? Michael Hunt's blown out his ass. And Povetkin was putting on him. So don't for 1 second think Povetkin is a pushover, because he ain't no pushover. What game plan would you give to Povetkin for him to? I've told you what the game plan is. So if you didn't hear what I said, what the game plan is earlier, I'm not saying it again. Seeing possible Whyte by late stoppage, Dillian Whyte. What, you think this is Derek Chisora? Come on, man. Dillian was running on fumes against Parker. This is what I'm saying. The short uppercuts and left hooks is his weakness. Whyte needs to go to the body, tie the old line out. Said it already. Mentioned it earlier on in the video. All you need is a good jab and you beat Povetkin all day long. Whyte, 2018. Yeah? Well, I don't agree with that. Great analysis of the fight, by the way. Thank you. You got to look at a guy's track record. If you're getting dropped by guys like Rivas is not a better boxer than Povetkin. Nobody can tell me Rivas is a better boxer. And by hell, he's not. Parker's not a better boxer than Povetkin. Nobody can tell me that. So if those guys can touch Whyte's chin, you better believe the Povetkin's finding it. You better believe Povetkin's finding it. So my strategy is this: if the fight goes to points, they'll throw it to Povetkin. Whyte has to knock Povetkin out in this fight. Because it's close, they'll give it to Povetkin. They'll give it to Povetkin. And ain't not many people going to be complaining about it. Not many people are going to be complaining about it. Because not many people are going to care. Ah, well, Dillian Whyte, the B sample. You can hear it already. You talk the crap's coming on here already. Dillian Whyte, the B sample. Ah, well, he ducked Luis Ortiz. Ah, he weren't that good anyway. It was a hype job. Ah, he should have fought Dominic Brazil. Yeah, Xavier Miller weren't a good trainer anyway. Ah, that'll teach him a lesson for leaving Mark Tibbs. Do you understand? This is why I talked about what I talked about early on in the evening for you. What I would say, the game plan for Povetkin, be the experienced pro. The game plan for Whyte, give Povetkin an experience he ain't had before. Don't allow Povetkin to get into any sort of rhythm. Don't let Povetkin a time to think. Don't allow Povetkin any chance to think. Switch it up on him. Don't give him a chance. You could take a chance and bum rush Povetkin and hope your physical strength can bully Povetkin and get him out of there. Because Whyte's physically a very strong man and he was able to bully Parker. But Parker can't box like Povetkin. And Parker don't punch as accurately as Povetkin. And when you see Povetkin, when Povetkin gets you close and throws, he throws on 3-4 punches and he's shooting short uppercuts on the inside. Povetkin still got it. The way Povetkin KOs people is violent, and that's what I'm saying. Raise good points about Whyte being dropped so many times. What do you expect me to do? Sit here and reel off a whole heap of rubbish? I gotta tell you the truth. How long have I been talking boxing, man? Come on. The science of boxing. Listen, if I'm a trainer and I'm looking at Povetkin, I'm looking at Whyte and I'm Povetkin's trainer, I'm saying, listen, this guy's been dropped numerous times, right? Study the tape of how he's been dropped. We know he's got a gas tank. We know that in later rounds, we can stop this guy late. We've got a second wind. Has this guy got a second wind? We know this guy likes to throw a wild right hand every so often. He likes to brawl. If he goes brawling like he brawled against Chisora, he'll get knocked out. I'm telling you now, if Whyte tries to brawl with Povetkin like he brawled with Chisora, he'll get knocked out because Chisora's not got the IQ that Povetkin has. I'm not trying to make Povetkin into be Superman, but you have to be on red alert with guys like Povetkin. Red alert. What weight do you see Dillian coming in at? I wouldn't say anything more than 235. Look, weight in the heavyweight division is used to bully, to be strong on the inside. If Dillian Whyte gets caught with a shot, he needs to be heavy enough to be able to tie Sasha up, tie him up. Don't allow him to get away. But look for a second. A guy like Takam, who's built like a tank. Look what Sasha did to him. You think this is a joke fight, eh? If Whyte loses, he's still good. He came a long way and he's changed his life for the better. Yeah, is he? Is he still good? I don't know. Sporting Advantage says, okay, how many people picked Povetkin versus Hunter? That fight made me money. It showed what seasoning can do. Yeah. I have to say to you that Povetkin is he's an experienced pro, man. Listen, first of all, he's not going to be intimidated what Dillian Whyte's got to say. If anything, Whyte's going to be more cautious of Povetkin in this fight than anybody else he's fought in his career. You think about it. He knows what Joshua's about. He knew what Joshua was about. And he wasn't even fit. He knew what Joshua was about. Povetkin's a different situation. He's seen Povetkin stretch David Price out. Stretch Price. And it was violent. Wonder if Povetkin can land on Whyte like he did on Price with that overhand. He can land any punch he wants, Povetkin. It's their job, Xavier Miller's job, to ensure that Whyte doesn't get hit with them shots. And it's about hit and not get hit. So Xavier's a good trainer, very good trainer, and he will look to have Whyte hitting and not getting hit. Good to hear. I only mentioned the Whyte thing because Dillian came in as overweight mess against Vac and struggled. Yeah, but it was late notice, man. And you know the story about Whyte and Vac. I can't even believe you mentioning that. I can't even believe you mentioned that at all. I don't even know why I brought that comment up on the screen. I really don't. So it's how he's got until August 22nd. Where are we now? It's got a month. It's got a month and a bit. So we'll see. But I think I've exhausted this conversation a lot. Much more. Povetkin did impress against Hunter. Weathered storm. Should have scored knockdown against Hunter and got back into the second half of the fight. And you're the man who just said Povetkin's 40. That is what you call absolute contradictory. So Povetkin did impress against Hunter, but he's 40 years old. Man, get out of here, man. Povetkin lands with ease. Of course he lands with ease. Of course he lands with ease. I'm telling you, Povetkin's got every possibility of knocking Whyte out in this fight. And he's got greater chance if he's Povetkin. And it's a WBC fight. And Whyte is peed off the WBC. Listen, I know what I'd be doing if I wanted Whyte out of there. I'd come back. I'd call back the incredible Povetkin. Macy Carter says this: Whyte is no Mayweather. He will get clipped and will side on his back behind again. This is what I'm saying. One of them fights where Whyte's gonna have to climb off the canvas. Povetkin Hunter was a cracking fight. It was, and Hunter is no mug. And Hunter's got speed and movement. And Hunter moves, and he still got into a fight with Povetkin. So, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to make Povetkin into be Superman. Right? I'm not trying to make Povetkin into Superman. But I'm just letting you all know that this is a red alert fight. That's what I'm saying. He needs a knockout. I can't see how he'll get it on the cards on a matchroom show in Eddie's back garden. Thank you very much. Oh, well, who are we talking about here? Povetkin's still old, though, yeah? All right, if Povetkin's so old, why don't you go fight him? If Povetkin is so old, why don't you go fight him? Man, you talk absolute rubbish. Absolute rubbish. Absolute rubbish. Povetkin is... If you were to tell me Povetkin was shop-worn, or he's been in a lot of fights, tough fights, I may argue with it. I might say, okay. How many brutal fights has Povetkin been in, honestly? He's been in fights where he's knocked guys out early. I don't know how many punishing fights Povetkin's been in. Okay, he fought the Joshua fight. I wouldn't call that a punishing fight. He got stopped. But I wouldn't call it a punishing fight. It was a clean stoppage. Right? He didn't get beat up round after round after round. The Hunter fight was a tough fight. But I don't think Povetkin's been in wars. So I disagree. For me, Povetkin is a dangerous man. Right? Listen. This is why boxing is in the crap it's in today. Because you've got people talking garbage like this. Oh, he's old. He's old. You know what I mean? You watch UFC and you want to say, it's the guy Pierre, what's his name is? Who's retired? he's thinking of coming back and fighting again. We don't say when he's old. But say, oh, well, he was the greatest fighter in UFC history. That's how they talk about him. But boxing, oh, they're ageist. Oh, he's old. I don't want to talk about Bakoli versus Kuzman because they're Hunter's leftovers. And arguably that Povetkin beat Hunter, so it is what it is. Bakoli's been sparring Joe Joyce. And so what? What is that information doing to this conversation? What has that got to do with this conversation? Absolutely nothing. Or as Frank would say, do me a favour. So, in conclusion, Dillian Whyte has got the toughest fight of his career, and he's made it tougher by sending that legal letter documentation to the WBC. So if we see Povetkin back in the ring on pay-per-view, I don't want anybody telling me about Jarrell Miller. When you've had Luis Ortiz, Jarrell Miller, both guys who've been caught, both guys who have fought on Matchroom Stroke DAZN cards. I don't want to hear nothing from nobody telling me nothing, because you pick and choose when it suits your agenda. You don't see that Povetkin visibly slowing during years. Oh my God, visibly slowing. Yes, so he's visibly slowing, is he? Tell that to Michael Hunter that he thought that's the rubbish Michael Hunter believed. Visibly slowing. Was he visibly slowing when he was beating Hughie Fury around the ring? Was he visibly slowing when he beat the crap out of David Price? Was he visibly slowing when he beat well, he should have beaten Michael Hunter? Visibly slowing. You've been watching Sky too much, mate. You watch. You know when you watch boxing, Ruben. You watch boxing and you turn the volume full up. When everyone else turns the volume down, you turn the volume up. Bloody hell! The narrative always changes based on the fighter. When Povetkin fights AJ, he's a spring chicken. When Povetkin fights White, he's old. I know. I'm just mentioning it, Ingram. Not saying it matters, but good work for both, I guess. Well, if you can get it, yeah. White 2-time as well. Don't forget. Oh God. Povetkin is funny and sad at the same time. It is. When Fury fights Klitschko, he's old. When AJ fights Klitschko, he's a beast. This is what I'm saying to you. Boxing fans dismiss every fighter after a loss anyway. Of course they do. You think White has been waiting a while to fight Wilder? Look at Povetkin. Well, we can talk about that one. But I mentioned the Wilder versus Povetkin situation. If White were to get beat by Povetkin and Wilder somehow beat Tyson Fury, I'll guarantee you Povetkin gets his shot against Wilder in a heartbeat. So, yeah. So, it's 55-45 in favour of Povetkin. I'm going with experience, consistency, in the sense that consistency, fighting similar around similar weight all the time. I'm going with a factor as well. There's been no other issues in the background for Povetkin. He's got into camp, he's training. He's a seasoned pro. He won't be intimidated by Dillian Whyte. He's not going to be intimidated by fighting in White's backyard or Eddie Hearn's backyard. He's not going to be intimidated by any of that. And he's got the Olympic pedigree. He's fought guys like Klitschko and Anthony Joshua already. He knows he fought the guy that Joshua knocked out. So Povetkin's got nothing to. Povetkin's got absolutely nothing to worry about. If anybody's going to be worried about this fight, it's going to be Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte's the one who's going to have to come through a lot in this fight. He's going to have to come for the fact that he will never box anybody as dangerous as Povetkin. 1, 2. If he wins this fight, he knows he's got a fight lined up against Tyson Fury, so that's pressure. 3, he's going with a guy who is coming to literally tear his head off. 3, and he's fighting against a guy who, if he makes a mistake, will punish him. Not really the type of guy you want to be fighting when you're changing trainers and managing fighters as well. Not really the guy you want to be fighting, Povetkin. You know, Jared Anderson's very young guy. Think he will build up slowly. Another quick win tonight. I did my report on Jared Anderson. He needs to work on his defense. He's only 20 years old. Yeah, that's great. So wasn't Hughie Fury only 20 years old at one point? Should be a pick and fight. I'm picking Povetkin by KO9. I'm going to go with Povetkin, like I said before, 55-45. Sorry, this one, I'm going Povetkin. Dangerous fight. I'm going Povetkin. I'm more sure of the Povetkin fight as I was sure that Chisora was going to get knocked up by Whyte. It's that sort of near surety I've got with Povetkin fighting Whyte now. Povetkin training camp in Russia during Corona. No testing will be interesting. LOL. Of course. Will be interesting to see the fight actually happens. Is Povetkin going to get caught last minute with some PD issue? He hasn't been a problem for a while. I don't know. Anderson versus Tom Little coming soon. Oh, or Anderson versus Dave Allen, like I was telling people the other day. But somebody said to me, "Oh, Dave Allen? No, Dave Allen's leagues above Jared Anderson." I said, "Really?" Povetkin can't be taken lightly. Personally, I think AJ's best career win as well. Yes. And on that note, I'm going to close off and say good night. It's been a great show with you guys. Really appreciate you. I hope you've enjoyed the show. I hope you've enjoyed it. Yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the show. Have a great night. And if Belanga's fighting tonight, I want to go and watch my bro fight. Take care. All the best to you all. Let's see if I can give you a little special ending. Maybe not. Let's see. Come on. Do you work? There you go.